What's going on, y'all? It's Clutch here. Um, Man, what a month it's been. Right, crazy moves in the market. So many opportunities that we've executed. So, purpose of this video is to kind of show you guys some of the plays we've taken. Wins and losses. Um, yeah. So let's get straight to it. So I think to start off with, we can go with Coreweave. I think that was the biggest winner this first month. You're gonna see a lot of repetition, right? I'll take the same setup all the time, and obviously, the more time on the contracts, the heavier I go. So that's one thing, right? Risk management. Anything that's closer dated, I always size down a little bit more, or I tend to day trade it and hold runners. Um, but yeah, that being said, the more time you have on contracts, the more you can feel more secure, right? Yes, you can bag hold weeklies or 1 week out and bag hold it as long as you can, right? But what can you do if there's news in the market, right? That's something that's out of our control. That's why I preach buying time on contracts. It's so much more important than trying to hit that 5,000% on weekly contracts, right? That's what runners are for, right? So yeah, that's number one thing is manage your risk and always buy time on your contracts. Um, but yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So Coreweave, you can see we've been in this downtrend for so long. We had this big demand here from IPO, right? Every time we come here, we bounced, came here, bounced, came here, bounced, got close to it, bounced. Not only does that now, we had this long-term downtrend. We had this other level too that we had to reclaim, right? Previous supply here. We kept rejecting, reclaimed it, rejected, reclaimed, rejected, right? So once we got above it and we broke this downtrend, that gave me the confidence to go long, right? We broke it here with a lot of volume. Um, Next day, I said, hey, I'm targeting this next supply area for trims. If we can break above this area, I'm going to hold it to at least this 115 level, and ultimate price target being 124, 125, which is where we're currently at right now, right? So Coreweave still good in my opinion. We sold our runners though. I think we hit like 500% or more on this trade. Um, yeah, so now you're watching for that demand bounce, or you're watching for breakout above here to target this next supply, right? Major supply up here. So if we get up here, we can actually probably try to short it. We'll see. Or we could possibly even come down and retest that trend line down below, right? So this is us just waiting for some candlestick patterns to show up, or waiting for more confirmation to get in. But that was one of the beautiful plays, right? We had straight 3 green days in a row. Beautiful, price action on this within these 3 days, right? Um, yeah, so that was the play on Coreweave. Now let's go over Rivian. This chart's a little bit more messier. Rivian, we've been watching this stock for so long. Let me delete these levels down here. So Rivian, I know we caught this first move somewhere over here. But I've been watching Rivian, same thing as Coreweave, right? This downtrend line here, we had a lot of supply here, right? We bounced or we rejected here, broke above it, held below, broke above it, retested, went long, rejected, held, right? So you can tell this $15.80 to $16 area was very important, right? So Rivian, actually, so she had broken out this day right here with the nice little bullish engulfing, or a little hammer you can call it, um, with a little bit of rising volume, right? So I took this trade to target at least this level here. Next day, she gapped up, popped a little bit, hit this price target right here. But yeah, we banked on that. We held runners, trimmed yesterday because we were getting close to this other price target right here to $18 flat level. Decided to trim and hold runners. just because Tesla had earnings. So you can see kind of the repetition I'm starting to get here, right? Same kind of pattern breakout, right? Trend line breakout. So that was on Rivian. That was my thesis behind it. I hope that makes sense. Now let's go to MSTR. That was the next huge trade. This was a huge, huge trade. Um, MSTR, right? Another one, right? Long-term downtrend, right? Rejection, rejection, and we finally started showing some signs of of breaking out here, right? Low volume, so I'm like, hey, I'm gonna get starters here because we haven't fully broke out yet, right? The full breakout is once you break above this little area of structure, right? Well, that 150 psychological level, right? You bounced here, you rejected, rejected, rejected. So once we got above it, I was like, hey, it's time to start getting in more longs. So low volume here, right? Got some speculation calls. Next day, I did see a lot of flow behind it. And then I also did see that, we have broken that major trend line. So I'm like, hey, I don't want to miss the gap up because, Bitcoin goes overnight. This thing's going to go, right? Bitcoin's going to go up overnight. This thing will go. I saw Bitcoin too. So I was like, hey, it looks like it's breaking out. We bought time and we bought some weeklies, for fun, right? They ended up hitting like 1,000% plus. But yeah, she broke out. She actually retested that trend line, broke out with a hammer, rising volume, closed basically right at 150, pretty close to it, 149-ish. And next day, that's how she wrote, right? Next day, she actually ran from the close here to the high. She ran 16%, right? Um, Ended up hitting 170, trimming our contracts, and would hold it as long as we stay above 150, right? So as long as we're above 150, even if we come back down and retest that 150, we can look for an entry now. But yeah, we hit our first price target here at 180, and I left the runner, just letting the last runner do his thing, do what it do. Potentially 200 can be coming up if market stays strong. But that was the reasoning behind MSTR. Right, you've seen the repetition here, right? Same repetition. Next trade we took, ARM. Right, this one's been massive. This is a massive, massive, massive play, and she's actually going up still more after hours, which is crazy, right? Um, who knows, right? The sky is the limit on this one at this point. We just broke all-time high. Right, we got an inverse head and shoulder pattern here on the weekly time frame. Finally breaking out, so this is a buy, right? Any kind of dip back towards this 175, 180 is a dip buy. This is a buy, right? Finally got that. We've been consolidating in this since 2024, right? 2 years, right? We've been stuck in this zone. So now that we're showing breakout potential, this is where you just hold, right? You gotta hold your winners, hold your runners, right? I personally bought some longer dated contracts that I didn't alert them because they were kind of pricey. They were like $1,000 to $2,000 per contract for June, July, September. But I did get into longer dated as well, right? So to start us off with ARM, other than this trend line here, I was watching. If y'all remember last week, we actually took ARM lottos. We took ARM lottos on Thursday, right? Because I thought she was gonna break out. I grabbed a little bit out the money just so we can get a big reward if she was to do the move that it did Monday on Friday, right? So on Friday, she actually did gap up a little bit. She actually gapped above this trend line. She actually retested that trend line and she made that little bullish pin bar. So that's why on Friday, once we closed above it, I'm like, hey, I'm swinging some calls over the weekend, right? I'm swinging calls, um, grabbing some weeklies. I bought 2 weeks out, 1 month out, all kinds of calls, right? Then Monday happened, right? Monday she broke above, had a really, really strong candle right here, right? Rising volume. Target was at least right here. And I knew once we broke this level right here, this thing could go parabolic, right? So Friday, the next day, Tuesday, she actually closed a little bit above, not the best closure. Next day, this thing just rallied, right? It's been rallying ever since. We hit all-time high here, which we broke out of. We hit that 200 price target, which was the price target for the short term. And now, this is where runners come into play. You just let this thing run, right? Let ride the momentum, let it do its thing. As long as it's above 200, keep holding. Honestly, you can hold as long as it's above 211, 210 area now, right? You can see the structure, it's just very, very bullish, right? Any pullback has been bought up, and it's like a little staircase, right? Even from down here, right? You'll see up, small move down, big move up, small move down, big move up, small move down, big move up, probably small move down, big move up, right? So keep riding that momentum, let the runners run, let it do its thing. And yeah, I mean, this is probably one of the craziest plays out there right now. This is crazy. But yeah, that was my thesis behind ARM. And let's talk about a loser. I love me talking about a good loser, right? Let's talk about this loser. So, Palantir, like I mentioned, right? Closer dated contracts you size down, right? Wednesday expiration going into Thursday, they can get decayed pretty fast, right? Palantir had this downtrend, right? One touch rejection, two touch rejection, three touch rejection, and we showed signs of breaking out on Wednesday, right? So we actually did break out on Wednesday, right? We broke out on Wednesday. We reclaimed this level here, this demand, right? I'm using the same strategy, right? And I didn't see too much flow behind it, so I just grabbed the weeklies. Not the best volume that it closed with, but I still wanted to try it, right? It's still worth a shot. And today, I don't know what the reason was. I think there was news. Let me see. Yeah, it was because of ServiceNow. I figured it was now Mstr earnings. So I'm thinking that kind of brought down Palantir. But shots like this, plays like this, you want to take the risk. Right? You want to take your shot at it, and swing it, right? Otherwise, we stopped out once she broke below this 147 level, and we broke below the previous day low. That's when, to me, it invalidated. And I'm glad we cut earlier, because as soon as she broke right here, I cut it, right? We saved ourselves a couple bucks. This thing just went straight gulag. But yeah, that was my reasoning behind Palantir. If she followed through 152.70, our first price target would have been right here around 156, which is a beautiful price target. And a big price target, I would try to hold it to at least 160, 162 area up here, right? Previous supply, right? That was a main price target. So if you look at it from the risk reward standpoint, you were risking this much to make this much. About a 1 to 2 risk reward, right? But yeah, that was the reasoning behind Palantir, right? Beautiful setup, just a failed setup. That's why I mentioned earlier, just because the play looks valid does not mean you go all in. You never want to go all in, because news can happen at any time. Earnings can mess it up, who knows, right? So you want to use risk management to respect your account sizes. So let's see, we covered ARM, Rivian, Coreweave, and let's cover Amazon, right? We took this day trade today, right? Beautiful execution on Amazon, very, very beautiful. This was very, very simple, right? Very simple, right? If I mark this right here as red, you can see every time we touch this level, we reject, right? Reject. And today, she actually closed, or she tried to break, she did break out. She broke above 256 here, right, on the 5-minute chart. Broke out here, rising volume, right? Once it started breaking out and I saw the volume starting to rise, I took my entry, right? made this little bull flag right here, and ended up going to all-time high. Right, we hit our price target, so we trimmed along the way, hit our price target up here, and we left runners for stop loss break even, and then obviously the news happened, and it caused it to dump. But you know, this was a beautiful. This is what you want to see in a day trade, right? You want to see major resistance like this get broken with rising volume, right? Volume. I didn't use many indicators, but volume is key, right? Strong closure above, nice little retest here, nice little flag. You know, quick little move, right? Quick little move. You know, you put size on day trades, right? I went with Monday expiration because I know I wanted to put a little bit more size versus, you know, just in case it chopped or something like that, or if we took the loss, it wouldn't be as heavy, right? So contract selection is also very, very, very important. But yeah, that was a beautiful play. We ended up hitting a max of 75% on this. Beautiful risk reward here, right? Anything under 256, we would have closed, and we targeted that 258.60 area to potentially, if we broke that, you know, 260 was in the picture. Obviously, Amazon didn't have the plans for it to break out today, so you know that's what runners are for, right? They either stop you out or you let them run. Now let's talk about this other play. I'm pretty sure you guys know that I've been eyeing this for so long, right? So long. This is something that, you know, I personally believe is going to go to my price targets. You know, the market can have other plans, but to me this setup looks very valid, and I'm not afraid to stand behind it. Risk management is key. Don't oversize, buy time, and don't freak out, right? If it invalidates, we'll take the losses, right? So, I mean, not ARM, IREN, what can I say? Downtrend, downtrend, downtrend. Supply, right? We rejected, reclaimed it, held, got back below it, reject, reclaimed it, held, got below it, rejected, and now we're reclaiming that same level, right? One thing I do love about this setup is not only did we break this trend line, right? Major trend line, 1 touch, 2 touch, 3, 4, 5, whatever, how many touches here, we broke this long-term downtrend, right? We reclaimed this level here. We broke that $50 psychological level as well, right? Now, if we zoom in just a little bit, let's zoom out a little bit. On the weekly, you can see if you get 1, 2, potential third white soldier. Right? If you don't know what 3 white soldiers is, it's this pattern right here, right? Usually, once you get 2 candles that are green, you could potentially get that third big green candle, which is what it looks like it's trying to do, right? 1, 2. So tomorrow we can actually see this push to the 60 area. If she obviously no news come out about the war or anything doesn't impact it, right? Technical wise, this looks like a beautiful A+ high conviction trade. We bought time, right? You want to size up on the ones with time, and the ones that are closer dated, you want to, you know, size a little bit less, right? You can't be scared. You have to execute, right? You have to take your shots. Just because Curry has one bad game does not mean he's not gonna stop shooting. Right? He's gonna keep shooting. So just keep shooting, right? Size appropriately. Don't freak out if you're oversized. If you're freaking out, you're probably oversized, right? We hate to take losses, but they're part of the game. Obviously, I don't know what it's gonna do tomorrow. Technically wise, this thing is telling me it's gonna run, right? It's technically telling me it's going to run, and why do I say that? Right? I gave y'all 2 points. We broke this major downtrend. We reclaimed the structure here, this demand now, and yeah, I mean, let's zoom out a little bit here to the hourly. If you look at the hourly, this is kind of like Amazon, right? We had major resistance here at 50, rejected. Today we broke out, came back down, retested it, and held. So to me, this is telling me, hey, tomorrow we break 53.4. We should see at least 55, potentially even that 58 area, 58 to 60, right? Somewhere around this area. That's my price target. That's my first major price target, right? If we break 64, then there's literally nothing but room to all-time highs, right? So we'll see what it brings tomorrow. But But you know, there is also possibilities that, you know, just because it breaks out doesn't mean it'll run the next day, right? That's why I said, hey, the ones for tomorrow are lottos, right? Yes, it can keep going. We can get that weekly candle closure to close with rising volume. But what we also do is come back down and retest that trend line breakout and then go, right? This is why having time is so important. Um, you know, I prefer to just go tomorrow. Obviously, I'm not in control. We're here to react to whatever the market gives us, right? Can this be a failed trade like Palantir? It sure can, right? It sure can, right? The only one difference is this one didn't have rising volume, and IREN actually has the most volume it's had in a long time, right? It hasn't had this volume since this day right here, and the next day it actually had a 10% day, right? Here too, right? 13% day, next day ran 13% more, right? So today we had a 7.5% day. Can it run 7.5% more tomorrow, right? Possibly. Who knows? Right? We'll see what it brings, but that was my theory behind open. I mean, not open, IREN. Let's talk about open too. Open is known to be a little bit like a meme, right? Short squeeze. Same kind of setup, right? Saw some flow behind it. Um, Decided to join the whales on this day. We actually got, I'm not scared to admit it, we actually caught the top on this so far, right? So far, right? Um, this looked, it was very, very green this day. It was very, very green, strong candle. Oh, there's new ceasefire extended. Well, the market's not doing nothing to it. Cool. Let's go over open. Yeah, so we broke out this long-term downtrend, right? This candle right here didn't close out the way I wanted it. I I wanted it to close stronger, but right now it doesn't look too bad, right? This candle's not pretty, but we're kind of retesting this little breakout trend line. We actually made a hammer today. We pulled back with low volume, so we'll see what tomorrow does. If it doesn't do it, we'll cut it. Reason I said size light was because this is one of those names that are like meme and squeeze potential, right? Like Beyond, right? We call it part of Beyond. Um, this day we bought part of it. Next day gapped up, contracted like 200-300%. I had weeklies as well, and they did about 1,000% or something. But yeah, that's my reasoning behind these trades. Like I said, if you're struggling or something like that, don't feel free to reach out to me or anybody in the chat. But yeah, let's see what tomorrow brings. Appreciate you guys for tuning in, and I hope this was helpful. And then I'll see you on the chat. Peace.